Remember last month when many members of the community and I, as well as professional analysts, were celebrating silver's record high? Well, it turns out that was a lie. I'll explain why in this video as we explore. Based off of some research that discovered some new data, actually data that was long gone and forgotten about, has come to light, we're finding out that we did not reach a record high in silver back in October. But what is the new record high? Well, it turns out we're tied with it. According to work done by Dimitri Speck, it turns out that the silver in 1980 went far beyond $50 an ounce. That's right, it's crazy. Most recently, in October 2025, the silver price rose above $50 a troy ounce. Silver had already reached this level in 1980 and then again in 2011. But in reality, that wasn't entirely true either, at least for 2011. But we'll get into that in a moment. Summit Metals is here. Whether silver is $50 or $25, they are there to give you some good customer service, competitive prices, and fast shipping. So check them out by clicking on the link in the description below. And stay tuned because I will show you another piece of silver as well that is quite interesting. I think you'll get a kick out of it. Now, on both occasions, this was followed by a prolonged decline in price. Some investors are therefore wondering whether such a decline is looming again. We'll get to that in a moment. But what was the peak price of silver back in 1980? This is where this research gets quite interesting. Where we have to look at the prices on the futures market in the United States and the market for silver to be delivered soon. When we encounter the first problem on January the 18th, 1980, the near contract and the COMEX futures market reached a high of $50.36 per troy ounce. So it did go above that. On the competing CBOT exchange, the high is said to have been $52.50. That's right, $52.50 per troy ounce the following Monday, January 22nd, 1980. This was reported to be at the time of the New York Times newspaper and had been picked up in an article by the financial services Bloomberg. However, this exchange no longer exists. The prices are not available from common data providers. He couldn't find a chart on the internet, so he remembered a data provider that was long since ceased to exist. He searched his archives and found what he was looking for. We can now see that the price development on the CBOT futures market with daily prices in the real high of 1980. That's right. So we did get above $52 in October, but silver at its 1980 high and U.S. Per troy ounce CBOT January contract from 1979 to January 28th, 1980. And so there was a spectacular and unprecedented rise, but the subsequent decline was also rapid. So the spot market high in 1980 was even higher. So we did have backwardation back then as well, it turns out. It was $54.50 per troy ounce, tying what we saw back in October. That's right. So we didn't break a record, we just tied for the highest price. But what was the spot price high in London for silver available for immediate delivery? It was also not easy to answer. He's got intraday prices for precious metals up to 1983 and 1986, and even these were extremely difficult to obtain. The responsible trading organization, the London Bullion Market Association, also does not have the intraday or highest prices from 1980. Perhaps the prices are still available in the archives of trading houses, but who would look for them? Through John Bullinger, the inventor of Bullinger bonds, the lines that were elegantly swing around the price and charts, he came into contact with Eddie Tofpick. In the 1980s, he worked for one of the major precious metal dealers in London at the time, which is Makata and Goldsmith. He recalls a conversation with one of the silver dealers, now deceased Mike Jennings. According to him, the highest price in 1980 was $54.50 per troy ounce. The volume of the trade was 200,000 ounces. The price is higher than previously known to the public. That ties with the record high that we saw back here in October. It was a very hectic, highly volatile market at the time. which made this price spike possible. The hectic activity was caused by the brothers Nelson Bunker Hunt and William Herbert Hunt. Together with Arab partners, they had bought several 100 million ounces of silver. This drove up the price. Other investors quickly followed suit with their purchases, but they hadn't reckoned with the U.S. authorities. The authorities raised the margin of the futures market to 50%. Prices subsequently collapsed. The short but very excessive bull market was over. So there were unique circumstances both during the rise and the decline. In the broadest sense, these were the cases of price manipulation. The Hunt brothers' silver speculation made history, and likely never to be repeated by so few people. But nonetheless, that's what happened there. Now, in 2011, we have improved computerization. The data available is considerably better than for 1980. On April 28, 2011, the intraday high of $49.47 per troy ounce was paid on the spot market. In 4 months, the rise of this high took considerably longer than in 1980 for the price to double, but what came after the high was particularly noteworthy. Yes, indeed. And then we saw the spot price from Wednesday, April 27th to Sunday, May 1st, 2011, around the high at that time. The prices during the day are based off the New York time. Friday is therefore shortened. And so that is what we saw there. And we saw it, rapidly decline not soon after that. It's crazy. But nonetheless, so that was pretty interesting. So when you look at those numbers, we nominally, now of course adjusted for inflation, we're very, very far from an all-time high. And I didn't do the math on that, but it's pretty intriguing to see what had happened there. Now I'm going to show you a really cool piece of silver, which I think you will find quite fascinating, that was sent to me by Perth Mint. This is an amazing thing. This packaging is absolutely amazing. I love this box here. Really just special here. This is Guan Yu's Green Dragon Crescent Blade. Absolutely amazing. And love the packaging on this. It's got a certificate of authenticity card. And you can see it is a limited edition of 500 for this blade. Just absolutely amazing and stunning. Look at this card with a cool graphic there. They do such a great job with all of the materials, high quality craftsmanship, limited mintages there as well, with this thing limited to just 500. So here it is itself. It's issued by Samoa in 2025. This legal tender collectible, if I can get it out of it's really in there well here. Let's see if we can get it out. There you go. This 2-ounce fine silver piece by Spectres is a tribute to that storied weapon. Shaped to the profile of the Green Dragon's crescent blade, it features an antique finish with selective gold gilding applied to the blade's mount grip and butt spike, as you can see there. Very, very cool. And intricate detailing captures key symbolic elements. A coiled dragon etched on both sides of the blade, swirling cloud motifs around the guard. As you can see there, just amazing. I love the way they do gilding on this on both sides. And yes, it is definitely a coin. Captures key symbolic elements. And the textured grip wrapped in high relief dragon scales that you can see there. Just absolutely mind-blowing. And the fact that they have a capsule that form fits it, a direct fit capsule for this unique shape, is quite impressive as well too. I think I'm almost as impressed with the capsule as I am the actual piece itself. But it is legal tender collectible coin, strictly limited to 500 pieces worldwide. You can really feel the weight of it in your hand for the 2 ounces, and just absolutely amazing. Yes, indeed. And you can get one of those. I'm going to post a link to it in the description below. You can only get it at Spectres, and if you use the code SAL20, you get a $20 discount. So hope you will check that out, but a fascinating piece indeed. Now, what silver is done, getting up to that high of $54.50 is quite incredible, and I think we're going to likely see silver prices maybe even reach back up there again. I don't know if it's going to happen this year or not, but I think that this time there's a lot still happening in the silver market that is offset, and I think we a series of backwardization, but it looks like backwardation is what we saw back in 1980 as well as what we're learning here. So this is quite intriguing. So we'll see what happens, but just interesting to find out that what we thought was the highs in silver's price was not, just because of the limited information that was out there back in 1980 that was deeply researched by the author here, Dimitri, and Dimitri Speck. So let me know what your thoughts are. What an amazing thing. I hope you found this video informative, insightful, and educational. Would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch this video, and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.